game. So I want to see AXIZ take advantage of that Galio strength early, because if you don't, Silas will outscale you. And likewise for the bot lane here, as much as Xayah is a counter to Kai'Sa, a lot of that does revolve around the Featherstorm, and Featherstorm's cooldown is incredibly long in the early game here. So there are windows of opportunity, especially with jungle pressure coming through. My eyes for AXIZ after seeing the draft is on Swamp to try and make these things happen pre-6 or at 6, and then at Megumin as well with that ultimate. It's basically about ganking the side lanes, get Yellow Yoshi, get Sangchu ahead.
No, I fully agree. I think bot lane obviously always going to be a big focus when it comes to these two teams, but even more after their draft. I will say there is that aspect of top side as well. Obviously, Jace into Camille does feel like a pretty temperamental matchup, so either way, going over to the lead for either side would mean bigger problems for the other. But we'll see how they do focus this. I think that the mid lane, at least for AXIZ, seems to be the least likely that you gank. Obviously, there is a lot of setup. You could potentially get Viego ahead, but being able to roam to the top or the bot side definitely seems a little bit more important. I quite like, even though I said, okay, yeah, they've kind of gone for all the dive champs and they're going to have problems against Poppy. I quite like that AXIZ have said, you know what, we're going to commit to the start. We're going to play dive and we're going to all play dive. You know, we're all 100% going in together.
Yeah, and we said it last game as well, right? If you're going to make a stupid play, make a stupid play together. It's better than one person trying to be smart and then ruining it for everybody else here. So I agree. I do like that idea. And hey, if you can play away from Hachimecha here, I think you'll be fine to do it. Now, I do want to touch on...
playing the play together. They're going to all just go in for this 2v2. Seagull going to take a bit of damage. Sangchu as well. There's a few feathers there at the end, going to catch them out.
How rude of them in the middle of me talking as well. No, I mean, I just don't understand why they're fighting that early. But hey, you know what? The point I wanted to make before that was Yellow Yoshi, right? We've not seen him on too much of carry. We've seen him on Urgot, which isn't really a carry. It's sort of just a lane bully. And we've seen it on Gwen, in which he did not perform well that game. So on this Camille right now, my biggest question for AXIZ is revolving around Yellow Yoshi. Can you play carries? Or are you sort of just a tank utility style player and that's your only role?
Yeah, no, I don't mean to flame Blitzcrank again, but big question marks here. 51% to 49, and then shows the graph of basically all the time AXIZ being favored. I don't know about those percentages, but I guess I'm not the supercomputer here. But I do agree with you. It is going to be a bit of a different look for Yellow Yoshi, and to be honest, had a time off, has come back, maybe a new style, new him. It's not the new year, but either way, I kind of like seeing the difference.
I'm going to reserve judgment on whether I'd like to see it after I see how he performs. Because right now, he's already down a wave and a half here. That's not a great look for the Camille that I know is running it already with that Jace here. And the scary part about Jace is that Jace is no longer a champion that only plays for the early game and falls off. With things like Cyrilda's Grudge right now, his scaling is actually really strong as well. So if you give him that early lead, you might never recover that lead.
You know, Arcane buff definitely did big things for Jace. And nice trade there from Yellow Yoshi. Does put a bit of pressure onto Aina, but as you said, the waves are just crashing in. Admittedly, has given us some time, but obviously the wave crashing in does mean that he could collect this up. And the disparity between the CS may not be as big as previously seen. As both the junglers, both they're going to be level 4 around this Scuttle Crab. Are they going to have a 1v1?
Right now, Hachimecha trying to just zone out here. The ward's going to stay, but bot side's where the action's at.
Both supports, they're missing. They're engaged towards there, and Dicey now in a bit of trouble there. The Ignite is ticking. There's Poppy going to pick up the first kill. Swamp now joining in the fight, looking to maybe turn this back around. Galio is making their way down. Megaman will he be able to get into this fight and have impact? He is not going to be able to close the distance just yet, and actually could have put himself in a bit of a risky scenario here. Going to walk away, taking a lot of damage, but no further kills.
Just getting run down by Soul with auto attacks there. And this is a great start for Rascal Jesters. We were watching the junglers face off here, but it wasn't about that. It was about Dicey and Sangchu getting, well, a little bit too hypey and dicey, as it were, and just forcing it engage when you didn't need to in a bad position. And look at where they stand here, right? For the side of Rascal Jesters, they are more united, whereas AXIZ was more split up, and Dicey missing the hook. I didn't even see how that started. That was deadly. If Soul had actually managed to land that blade call properly, it could have gone even worse there. But as it stands, it did bait down Megumin. Megumin came all the way down, found nothing for it, and Recap got to just catch up and farm mid lane.
I just love the supports have the same energy. Both flashed, both missed engage. Like it's perfect. It was a perfect chaos, and I love to see it. But back onto this one, Rascal Jester is picking up the early lead. Blitzcrank didn't predict that one. It's a pretty nice way for them to kick off the game, considering that we talked about, okay, sometimes they're a little bit shaky on the start and they do become an absolute monster in the team fighting. It's good to see them finally, having some good success early on.
Yeah, and it's on to Hachamicha, which isn't ideal for Rascal Jesters, but Hachamicha, if this Poppy gets accelerated, it can stop a lot of Swamp's action. And we were saying that for AXIZ, Swamp is going to be the big sort of playmaker for that team here. So could be critical. It really depends on how the pathing comes through. And for AXIZ, they're probably breathing a bit of a sigh of relief as well, because the fact that it didn't go onto Soul does mean that Sangshu and Dicey get to extend that period where they're the ones in the lead. And yes, they lost that last fight, but Dicey can continue to play aggressively. If you fall behind as either Nautilus or Leona, it feels really, really bad because you can only engage, you can't really disengage. And if you're behind, you engage, you die.
Oh, I've never seen that interaction before. That was actually disgusting to watch. The hammer smash away to block the hook shot. Well, color me impressed. That's what I'll say.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about when I say that Jace, with that hammer creates that zone of control there. And the nice part is that even if you miss the timing, you can do it after Camille lands. And sure, you take damage, but you still push her away and you still create that zone where you have that range advantage. So yeah, I know fast fingers and really strong, good champion for this early part of the game.
And talking about early strong, they're going to be able to get the Hextech Drake first. A pretty nice Drake in isolation overall, but also getting the first Drake, putting you that one step closer to Soul. Obviously, a far in the future thought, but Rascal Jester is definitely taking the early game in their stride.
Jeriel, it's never too far in the future for Rascal Jester. They play for the late game regardless of their composition here. And yeah, it hardly surprises me that they're going for these early dragon stackings here. And I expect to see them continue maintaining the stranglehold in the bot lane if possible, because they want to play to it anyways, right? And as much as we harp on the fact that Megumin's got Hero's Entrance, Recap can steal that Hero's Entrance as well. So if any party starts moving towards the bot lane, I think everybody's going to be partying down there.
And we all love a 5v5 bot lane party. That is just a classic League of Legends experience. As in this top side, Yellow Yoshi is starting to slip behind in that farm. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but it is starting to become more and more problematic. And it does feel like neither of the junglers are going to be going top side anytime soon. Maybe this Herald play could maybe turn around that favor, though.
Oh, they're pinging it. Swamp's coming up.
And as I say that, they say, you know what, we're not going to listen to what you said. They're going to both join this, and here comes the Cupid's verdict to knock them away. Beautiful play there from Poppy, flashing forward, getting the knockback and saving Ina.
It's so efficient as well. Hachamicha actually had to flash, by the way, to get in range to do it. But other than that, Hachamicha literally just walks by, swings the hammer, walks away. It's just that clean here. And for AXIZ, it's a huge opportunity cost. They burnt the ultimate from Yellow Yoshi. They burnt both flashes to get in range. And this is why I thought the Poppy pick was so good. And AXIZ, this was my big problem with your draft. You're countering almost every single play with that.
Oh, Secret going straight into the bush with 3 members. Going to be able to walk out alive, though, because Leona and also the team there coming through as a bit of damage there dropped by Jace. The Herald is going to be the site of the first fight, it does seem, as all 5 are here from both teams. But it's going to be Rascal Jester picking up pretty cleanly. AXIZ deciding it's not in their best interest to take this fight.
Yeah, just Leona doing Leona things. Eclipse is so far. What on earth, Recap? Okay, you know,
okay,
he's just he's just clearing it out. He doesn't want that ultimate, I guess.
Yeah, it was a little bit question mark as here we go. It's going to come through for the side of AXIZ, but they're not going to be able to lock down Secret for long enough. They're only going to be able to stay alive once again.
That Hero's Entrance has been real handy in that particular choke point for the side of Rascal Jesters there. I don't know what's in the water today, Jerio, but it feels like the winning team in the early game has been making some interesting decisions. Once for Sengoku Gaming and now Recap for Rascal Jesters here. It's not impacting their overall play. It's just really baffling decision making that I can't justify.
Yeah, it definitely feels like everyone's playing a bit loose. You know, they're kind of just like, yeah, let's make this play. You know, it's fine. It's like it's just a normal, guys. Like it's like, wait, no, hold on, this is a legitimate competitive game, guys. Like, You are making some sus decisions, but it's working out for them. You know, like at the end of the day, Sengoku didn't get punished for it. So far, Rascal Jesters haven't got punished for any of their decisions as well, and it is what it is. I guess a win is still a win at the end of the day, but I do agree. You want to be looking good against these teams. I think that the same as what I said for V3 Sengoku, I think that this is about making a statement for Rascal Jesters, saying, okay, look, we are strong, we're very clinical, and we can easily clean out these games.
Yeah, and for Rascal Jester specifically as well, it's a statement about their early game, right? We've complained that Rascal Jesters have some of the longest winning game times of any team here, and they need to speed it up when you're winning. It's got to be clean. Take a look at Detonation Focus Me, right? And how quickly they close things out. And their lead here is a good sign. Their rotation, even better. They still have Herald as well on Hachamecha. So they're looking to just flat out break that mid-side turret right away.
Yeah, really nice rotation from Rascal Jester there. We will be able to pick up 4 plates, I believe, which is quite a bit of gold now. They are now up at 1.8k. As a few plates will go over to Sanctuary in that bot side.
1 plate. Kaiser can only take 1 plate. I mean, look at inventory. Serrated Dirk, not that useful against a turret, and double longswords. That's all you've got. So you can't take anything more. And Recap's actually going to TP down to guarantee that they're happy to leave Soul and Secret mid. And to me, that signals that Rascal Jesters want to pick up the pace of the game by breaking that mid lane turret as quick as possible, open up the map a little bit more. And I don't know if their comp is online yet for it. The Silas still needs a bit more time to scale. No Mythic yet, and Soul and Secret likewise. Soul has Featherstorm, which will keep you safe, but you don't have the items that make you a threat yet.
And it seemed a little bit strange from Dicey and Swamp there. They were just kind of walking around, kind of deciding, do we gank this, do we not gank this? And then in the end, just kind of watching the farming action happen as they might now start to rotate down to bot side. Obviously, Dragon is up, so maybe AXIZ look to try and pick up the first Drake for them of this game.
Oh, Recap, face planting.
Raise Cap are going to be going pretty low here. The stuns are going down from Leona, but can they turn this one around? Is it all a big bait? They picked up 1 for 1 so far. Jungler for mid laner. I would say that that's pretty worth for Rascal Jesters, even though it came off the back of maybe not so great play.
Once again, Recap just doing baffling things. You knew they were there. The team was calling and pinging that, hey, they're at the Dragon Pit. We saw them there, and he just decides to walk into it. The good news is that at least they found Swamp, so AXIZ can't go for Dragon here. Hachamecha is going to be there and actually secure this. So sure, 1 for 1 isn't ideal, but Rascal Jesters still get Dragon, still winning topside as well.
Yeah, the farm lead is growing. The pressure is growing. The gold lead seemingly pretty large as well, but we don't have the stats for that just yet. And yeah, you know, really controlling this one. We talked about how this 1v1 is going to be tough, and it is definitely going the way they're expected. And 2 Dragons now over the Rascal Jesters, pushing them that little bit closer. They are starting to amp up that pressure, and obviously now it kind of forces AXIZ into those team fights around that 3rd Drake.
Yeah, and that's when I'm getting very, very worried for them here, J-Real, because AXIZ so far have been on the back foot for most of these plays. They haven't really been able to pull the trigger, even when they had the setup, like they did around the Herald, like they did around this Dragon as well here. And as it goes later and later, Rascal Jesters are going to look better and better. Oh no, the Mythic's starting to come through, and I know hit his Mythic before Yellow Yoshi did, so Camille's lane is about to go from bad to worse, and Hachamecha as well with the turbo chem tank is looking to make tracks here. I love the pickup.
I do indeed. The speedy Poppy is the deadliest and truly can pick up some momentum. You know, Fast and Furious can be the name of the little Yordle, as we are seeing a 1v1 on the top side. And we saw, you know, take Yellow Yoshi really low earlier and now forcing him to use that ultimate as well. Ooh, getting a lot of damage with that Shock Blast.
I'm actually not sure that Ino should have knocked him out of the Hextech Ultimatum. I think Yellow Yoshi would have lost if they just stayed in there and kept trading. I mean, look at how healthy he is with that Mythic. Let's not forget, Eclipse not only gives you the shield, there's Omnivamp on that item as well. So yeah, you don't win that 1v1 at all. You're forced out, and Yellow Yoshi has no TP.
No TP, been forced out of lane a few times now, and it is all ticking over as Hachamecha now going to be able to find a pick in the mid jungle side. It's going to be an easy lockdown on the Galio, and I don't know if you caught the numbers there, but absolute huge difference in gold off tower playing.
Yeah, I mean, they just took down the top side, right? And I know almost took it down before that. Mid lane also down to that last plate, now going to fall as well. Rascal Jesters, we're only 15 minutes in, J-Real, and they are up 4,000 gold, looking in control. Their turrets have hardly been threatened. They lost one plate in the bot side, and that was about it. This, you're doing Mega Man dirty like that. I mean, how many seconds is this? He can't move at all.
Oh, the CC combination was disgusting. Oh my days. The stun, then the lockdown from Silas, then Leona. Oh no, that was horrible. I want to know the time. Was that like 5-6 seconds of CC?
That's when we measure the time in terms of a lifespan. It was his entire lifespan right there, J-Real. Forget about seconds. Just, and that's Mega Man, who's probably one of the tankier members at this point in the game. So that tells you that if AXIZ catches anybody right now, they don't get to play the game. Maybe Sangchu might. Sangchu's got cleanse, but that's about it. And some of those CCs right there were knockups, which you cannot cleanse away.
Yeah, I feel like it almost feels worse that he was tanky, because it's like he was CC for so long. Like, I'm tanky and I'm still dying because of the CC chain, and it is just wild. And also, not even necessarily the highest damage member set, wasn't even there to do damage. So if you get caught in front of the Jace, it's not going to be looking good, as we are going to see that play indeed. Swamp going to be locked down, but able to dash away. And obviously not wanting to go into the fog of war there. Secret not going to overextend.
Yeah, I think they're trying to hold their outs as well for this.
Oh, Sangchu, I don't know why you're stepping up without your team into Eno's Secret. That's an easy pick, but now maybe the 2v2 could be turned around. Gonna shock blast the minion, gets knocked up, and that's a lot of damage from Swamp, but turning around with the hammer, gets the shield off of the item. Gonna be stabbed in the back and will not be able to turn this play around.
But look at what happens on the other side of the map. J-Real, the herald was taken, and they're looking to crack an inhibitor turret pre-17 minutes here. Normally, we say you don't want to take an inhib pre-19 because at that point, you're just funneling gold in. But Rascal Jesters are looking to try and set new records. What is the current one? 18 minutes and 50-something seconds?
I know that it's 18-something. I'm not fully sure on the exact timing, but wow, Rascal Jester said, you guys don't like our early game, we're going to show you how good we can do it. And it's true, they've been looking just very strong in this game. They've looked very composed. Yes, okay, a couple of weird moments from recap, I'll say specifically, but all in all, very strong play from Rascal Jesters.
Okay, they're showing us a replay of the bot side. I don't want to see the bot side replay. I want to see the top side replay here. We already know that, unfortunately, Sangchu just got absolutely obliterated, and the rest of this fight, the minion shock blast happens. So I'm just tracking the top side right now, and then the way they just pushed in constantly, and the fact that Yellow Yoshi couldn't answer whatsoever. It's worth noting that the inhib actually didn't go down. Yellow Yoshi killed the Herald first, and I don't know if that's the right call, because now that top side is not funneling in for them. Yellow Yoshi TPing into the back.
Funneling, they're trying to catch them all in one point, as Yellow Yoshi going to be jumping in onto the back line, but the dodge from Soul doesn't let him get locked into the Hexag Ultimatum. They pick up the kill onto Galio, and now Yellow Yoshi in a horrible position here, going to be closed down and locked up, as it is going to be AXIZ having to run away. The third Drake most likely going to be going to Rascal Jesters, unless Swamp can maybe get a steal.
And they were so split coming in, J-Real. I just again, it reminds me of Yu-Gi-Oh, pardon me, last game where he just seems disconnected from the rest of the team. It's a great engage from Yellow Yoshi, but if your team doesn't follow up, you just get punished. And they stuck around Secret.
Beautiful dodge on the hook there from Secret, gets the lockdown, and that's going to be an easy pickup onto Dicey. Just Rascal Jester's looking way too powerful. Can they now turn this into more objectives? That mid-tier 2 looking pretty juicy.
Yeah, the only objectives left for them to take right now, J-Real, are those turrets. And we get to watch the engage. And I want to highlight, it's not only Yellow Yoshi going in that looks kind of separated from everyone else. It was Mega Man following up and no one else coming in. Okay, I guess that's why. Keeper's Verdict just disengaged them completely. And it's that Poppy. You sit that, okay, there's only one Poppy. There's only one Keeper's Verdict. There's only one Steadfast Presence. But that's all they need right now. Hacha Micha looking like the MVP for Rascal Jesters in this game.
It's a disgusting pick. The Poppy is really, really putting in the work in this game, and it's It's a tough one for AXIZ. You know, I feel like I praise that they all went for dive, but it's only good if you can get the dive off. You know, in that fight, as you said, only 2 of them able to even get into the back line. The others knocked away or just held back. And it's kind of why I feel like dashes into Poppy just isn't a good combination.
Agreed, fully agreed. And I'd also make the argument that, hey, going in together is good, but you also need to go out together. So if you guys are going to get hit by Keeper's Verdict, try and make sure all 5 of you get disengaged at the same time so that doesn't happen again. You can re-engage after that and the Keeper's Verdict is down. But if you guys get split by the Keeper's Verdict like that, then not so good. Speaking of getting split, though, I know.
No, he's in a lot of trouble here. The damage is coming down. Here's the hero's entrance as well. Maybe a little bit overkill from the Galio, but it does get the job done as now Swamp and aggressively towards the Poppy there. I thought that maybe there was going to be a bit of a turnaround, but not just yet.
Yeah, I think Hacha Micha would be comfortable trying to fight Swamp. He's not comfortable fighting Aino because Aino is kind of fed. Second, oh no, actually, had the second highest farm moments ago and has that mythic completed, is a very, very strong position here. And because Viego steals all your items as well when he steals your soul, yeah, that's not a fight you want to pick. Great pick from AXIZ, but all you're doing is buying time, right? You can't actually find any objectives here. You can't take a turret. You certainly can't go for Baron and Rascal Jesters. Well, Aino's back up. They are about to go and start pushing once again here. And you called for that T2 turret. I'd like to see them push mid. I'd like to see them threaten that topside inhibitor because we're now past that 20-minute mark here. No longer fastest game. And now if you take an inhibitor, that is good pressure you can use to set up for a Baron take.
Yeah, the Baron take does seem to be on their minds, already starting to remove some of that vision that AXIZ have just put down. And obviously, AXIZ need to keep their eyes on the prize that is Baron. If they do lose that, then it does feel like the game will start to crumble around them. Rascal Jester is also only 1 dragon away from Soul already, which is coming up in a minute 40.
Okay, J-Ro, this is a test for Rascal Jesters right here. If you're a good team, if you're looking to level up, you go and you threaten Baron right now. You set up the vision, you go for a pick, or you just flat out take the Baron if AXIZ don't respond. If you're Rascal Jesters from first split or first half of the split, you're going to wait 1 minute and 30 seconds for Ocean to come out. You're going to take the soul, and then you're going to take the Baron, and then you're going to look to close out the game.
Or they might do option 3 and go for this bot lane fight. Although saying that,
I don't know.
They've been able to hide away in a very sneaky play from Yellow Goshi to get the base off there. But I do agree, Rascal Jesters could have made pressure to the Baron. Obviously, they didn't know that there was 2 in the bot lane. I think if they knew both solo laners were down there, then 100% that is the call. But they're playing it slow. They're playing it calculated. They don't want to give any free ways back in for AXIZ.
They're playing slow. When we use the term they're playing calculated, I don't know what era their calculator is from. Because nowadays, you play faster than this. You go for that Baron. Instead, they're sieging up the mid lane. And sure, they've got the Mirror Mana completed for Aino, so the poke from this Jace is very, very much lethal if it lands here. But you can see that the wave clear from AXIZ is no slouch either. Megumin's still able to clear that wave fairly quickly. So the chip is slow going here.
Yeah, slow going indeed. They should be able to build this tower very easily, though. They will take that one. And now they can start to rotate towards that Drake. 14 seconds on the clock. Is AXIZ going to be able to mount a surprise attack? Will they be able to turn this one back into their favor? It doesn't feel likely, and Soul is definitely not going to help them out.
Oh
either.
No, Dicey. Oh, got to flash away. Lives for now. And J-Ro, this is Soul. So AXIZ has to fight for it. If you give up Soul, you're not going to win any fight after this. We just saw this last game. If you give a team with Poke Soul, Ocean Soul specifically here, you can never match.
Yeah, you cannot match at all. It's going to be a big hill to climb if they don't manage to take this dragon at all. And if AXIZ wants to stay in this game, they need to try and find the fight right now. Dragon is being taken pretty low. 2 does. It's going to be smite away. That's the Soul point. And now AXIZ could be in trouble. They've kind of just waited around for their doom. And it's going to be Dicey that pays the prices. Now Hajamecha looking for more. Going to be able to push back Megamin looking for this kill. It's a pretty easy setup. He's trying to just buy as much time as possible, but it's not going to be very much. And onto the Baron, it seems like they will go.
Yep, dot your I's, cross your T's. You got Soul. Next thing on that checklist is almost always a Baron here. Keeper's Verdict not available, but Swamp, I don't think Swamp can get in anymore here. Will have the smite up in time for it, but without vision, they're not going to risk it. They're going to try and go for mid lane instead. And if they want to take mid lane, they've got to take it and get out real quick here.
Secret already moving over. Admittedly, not going to be able to do too much to stop this one. They will be able to claim that tier 1. Getting a little bit of gold back is going to be pretty nice, but obviously the Baron being picked up for Rascal Jesters, the momentum is all in their favor. Now it feels like this is the time to strike. You've got an inhib down. You've got the tier 3 open for the mid lane as well. So this is going to be a lot of pressure, and I feel like if AXIZ can maybe survive the next 3 minutes, maybe not losing too many structures, they could potentially have a chance to come back into this game, but it feels very unlikely.
I don't know if they really do, J-Real, because even if they do, Elder is going to be up next time, right? And you can see the strength of that Poppy pick. In the beginning of the LJL, it felt like every team was picking the Poppy, whether it be top or in the jungle. And a large part of it, especially in the jungle, was the ability for you to just keep his verdict, the enemy jungler out, just boot them out and say, hey, you don't even get a chance to smite steal this. So for Rascal Jesters, even if, okay, we don't get a good push on the Baron buff, great, 5 minutes later, we go to Dragon and AXIZ, you still got the same problem. You're still trying to engage into a Poppy. And on an ocean map, we've seen how hard it is to even reach the Dragon. Constantly, Rascal Jesters are setting up these death bushes everywhere.
Oh, and they're looking to do the same again. AXIZ haven't learned their lesson so far, although they ward it first. They won't get caught just yet. But now the tier 2 in big trouble. The minions just absolutely crashing down that tower. And that's going to be one they're looking for the second as well. They are just looking to open up this base. And it doesn't feel like there's much response from AXIZ that they can make. As right now, the tower going to be taking a few hits there. They're able to keep it for a little bit longer. And Yellow Yoshi just pushing the mid tier 2.
Yeah, they're trying to base race, but you can't beat a Baroned up team here. Does have TP. Now the base is cracked open here. How much more time can you buy, Dicey?
Oh, that's going to be immediately removed from the game. The knock up onto Sanctuary will finally hit with the stun against the Wolf Swarm. It's going to be in trouble here. His entrance will buy a little bit more time, but another tower going to fall all the same. And is now Yellow Yoshi able to pick up 1 kill. Maybe they can find this one. It's going pretty well for them so far. Soul going to go pretty low, but he's going to be able to jump over all of that damage. Feather Dance keeping them very much alive. And Eno looking for Yellow Yoshi. A bit more damage will do it. It's just more and more kills going over to the side of Rascal Jesters. They're going to be able to take this last tower. They have all the power. They're going to be able to finish this one off. How many more kills will they get is really the question. Going forward there, they are looking for more. Sanctuary actually maybe going to try his hero moment here, but Eno says no, slams the hammer down. Dicey, the last one alive, not for long, will finally be gone, and it's going to be the Nexus for Rascal Jesters.
Well, J-Real, the question was how many more kills can he get? All 5. They aced